Welcome to S.H.I.F.T, a safe haven in honor of Linda, the beloved sister and best friend of your dynamic and inspirational host, Lisa Council. You will experience uplifting and encouraging testimonies of women, men, and teens who have survived and overcome domestic abuse and trauma.
Welcome back to S.H.I.F.T. And listen, today I am extremely excited. I'm super excited. I'm ecstatic. I'm emotional. This is something that I've been wanting to do for a while now, and that is have my dear sister, my dear therapist, my dear behavior specialist, my dear teacher, the very, very amazing sister warrior, Queen Afi. Welcome back, sis. Welcome back to S.H.I.F.T.
Thank you, Lisa. Peace and love, everybody over there at S.H.I.F.T. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm so grateful to be here.
Man, have no idea. You just really don't. I've been trying to pull this together for a while. I know how busy your schedule is, so I'm honestly do not take it lightly that you just agreed to, come on and bless us with your knowledge, and just bless us with your power, and just bless us and just educating us on today. Before we get started, of course, I always like to share the tags associated with domestic violence. And those tags are verbal, emotional, sexual, physical, financial, spiritual. We have elder abuse. We have bullying. We have cyberbullying. And of course, when we get into the flags, there are so many different flags that are associated with domestic violence.
Yes,
and, we oftentimes, as we all do, we ignore, the flags associated with domestic violence to no fault of our own. So today, like I said, I'm just so grateful to have my sister with me, my sister for real with me on S.H.I.F.T. We know that every February is Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month, which provides an opportunity for us to educate the community about the prevalence of teen dating violence. However, for me, I wanted to take this time during the month of March to bring back to our core, education and awareness on teen violence, because I myself was a victim of teen violence, and I was also a victim of being raped at the age of 13. So I wanted to kind of tie in March because March is my birthday. And I just wanted to bring it back to the forefront. And I don't think, me personally, that is something that we should only be discussing during the month of February, especially for those who are, who are survivors, who are victims, who are, and those of us who are out in the communities as advocates, educating on, domestic violence. And I do not feel as though teen dating violence is something that is talked about often enough. So I wanted to take the time during the month of March, because it's, the month that I celebrate my birthday, and I am a survivor, and I wanted to bring it back to the forefront. So I'm just going to go right into it with my sister so that she can educate us all. And believe me, we will all learn something on today. So, Queen, I just want to go right on into it. Do you believe that educating the community once per year is enough?
Absolutely not. Because we say that domestic violence is 24/7, 365 days a year. And if our call centers, police call centers, are receiving 20,000 phone calls, DC has 8 districts. So you got one district that can receive 10,000 phone calls about domestic violence. That's within a day. Of course not. We need to be talking about this every single opportunity we can get to educate our young people on these many tags of domestic violence that you called out. Because if not, we are simply dropping the ball. We are simply dropping the ball. And it's critical that we talk about it, make it so that it's normal for our young people to ask those questions about, domestic violence or red flags that they may be, feeling. You can simply say, child, daughter, son, mentee, whoever, what you think about red flags? It don't always have to be you tell them, oh, don't you get into a relationship with this person. It don't always have to come over. It could just be a basic conversation, like we do in the classroom. We educate in the classroom. We're not getting into your business. Okay, because once you do your education, you're going to be wanting to get in your own business. So it is critical that we talk about this subject more than, once a year.
You said something that really stood out for me, and I hope that this rung a bell in our S.H.I.F.T family and our domestic violence wears many tags family as well. And that is, did you all hear Queen? She said 20,000 calls per day, not per week, not per month, not per year. She said per day. That is mind-boggling per day. So that lets us know right then and there, where statistics show us that 1 in 3 teenagers experience dating abuse, then those numbers have to be off. They cannot possibly be right.
That's every child. That's every person who opted to be in the survey.
Yes.
That's every person who opted to be. So, that's not all of our teens that are experiencing domestic violence and could be making these calls across 8 districts in Washington, D.C.
And that's what I think a lot of people also don't understand. Are the statistics come from surveys, like you said, where people agree to be a part of the survey. So that's where those numbers and those statistics come from. When we say, 1 in 4 women, 1 in 7 men, 1 in 3 teenagers, we know just from the reports that we received, the staggering reports, and come on now, that these statistics, they're off. They can't be. So we have to be cognizant that these are just for individuals who agreed to take those surveys. So, sister, when do you think we should start educating?
We have to start educating as early as 5 years old, because again, the brain is developing. Body parts are important that we, have those conversations with our young people to help them identify, what those body parts are, as well as if we're going to say verbally, then we should be letting them know that the no word is okay. And that, the different command, you ask somebody, can you have this? You don't just go and take something. So teaching them those basic commands of, etiquette and how to carry themselves underneath sort of an umbrella of domestic violence. Because when they start elementary school, all the children ain't gonna be nice. It's gonna be some children in there that's gonna be mean. It's gonna be some children that's gonna be a little bit violent, more than normal. So our young people all need to know that when somebody hitting on you, that's not love. That's not them liking you. When somebody hit them, when somebody say you fat and dumb, oh, you ugly girl, you bald headed, you need to grow your head. That's not them being your best friend. That's called verbal abuse. That's called, somebody putting you down and trying to destroy your inner.
You are watching S.H.I.F.T with Lisa Council. Remember, self-healing ignites flourishing transformation. Now, back to the show.
So, Queen, if we should start educating our children around the age of 5 years old, then that would mean that the way we talk to our children would have to be different as well. Because oftentimes, as parents, grandparents, aunties, uncles, we teach our children words like, your private part or your boo boo. So, in order for us to educate them so that they can know that no one touches you here, or no, this is unhealthy, we have to teach them in essence that, hey, your vagina is a vagina. Am I correct when I say that, sister?
Absolutely correct. They must know the name of their real body parts.
Mm-hmm.
So we got a lot of young boys walking around here thinking that they don't have breasts.
Mm-hmm.
And they do.
Yes.
Okay, so it's just as simple as that. Identifying with them what their body parts are, so they know that if something does happen and you have to talk to a therapist or a psychiatrist, what have you, the therapist will say, so what part of the body did they touch? And they'll
Mm-hmm.
know to say my penis, my vagina, my breast, my anal, my butt. They'll know to say these things so that it doesn't look fuzzy to the therapist, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yes.
a lot of abusers, predators get over like that because the child don't know their body parts. So they end
Yes.
up saying,
Yes.
oh, that child don't even know their body parts. So yeah, what you talking about? See what I mean? So it makes everything look fuzzy to the child, and it makes them feel like nobody's believing what they're saying, and it
Mm-hmm.
pushes them down in sort of a depression mode. Because, hey, we need to teach them their body parts. So when somebody touched them, they know, oh, he touched my breast.
Mm-hmm.
Another man touched my breast and was, playing around with my chest, with my nipple area. That's for the young boys. You see what I mean? We need to, it's a chest, but young men also have breasts. Okay? So we need to make sure that we letting them know the details of the body parts.
Understood wholeheartedly. And again, for our shift listeners, our adults, especially our parents, our grandparents, it's important that we do talk to our children in a language that they can understand and that society understands, because we think that the goo goo and gaga is so pretty, and and it makes your kids laugh. But in order to keep your children safe, you have to be talking to them so that they can have a clear understanding, so that if something does happen, then a therapist or an advocate or someone else will be able to understand your children. And so, of course, like our sister said, that things won't look fuzzy, or a predator does get off, because our children hasn't been taught the correct language when it comes to body parts, and someone doing something to them that is not one acceptable or healthy. So you heard it right here from the specialist today. We have to start talking to our children in the language that we should be using, just as if we give our children nicknames. They should be able to know how to spell their names and say their birth names. Their importance to all of these type of things. I'm a parent who's guilty of giving my child a nickname, right? But at school age, they should be able to know their full names, from their first, middle to last name, and how to spell their name. So it's no different than teaching them body parts, ABCs, or anything else, because it's for their own good. So, sis, I've really been pondering on, how do we get our children to understand unhealthy relationships when in fact some of them are in households where their mom or their dads are victims of domestic abuse? How do we teach them that if this is what they're seeing on a daily basis?
Yeah, it's their normal, like it's a part of their normal, it's their household, it's what they grow up in, it's what they know. That's why it's important for, like you said, advocates and people that are wanting to have the conversation to center topics around our teens, underneath the umbrella of domestic violence. And somebody reached out to me recently and said, well, what does that look like? It looks like teen talk. It looks like, having our young people get in a circle, male and female, or you could do your all female, you could do your all male circle. It doesn't matter. Having them get in that space and starting off with a topic that they think is interesting, right? So you can put a couple of topics, and you can have the teens to write down the topics, put them in a little box, and somebody grab it out. Yeah, pick it out, and we talk about this for 5 minutes. We go over what this look like, what this could be, and get everybody's insight on the different topics that may be placed in the jar. We got to do those things when we can catch them. That's why we got to be in the vicinity where our young people are at, because at home, it's other things going on at home. You see what I mean? And they not privy to talk about it. They not privy to say, where this hurt me, and even, some of my young people today, they don't even want to tell me that my mother in it, my daddy in it. It's so sensitive for them. So I find it to be more easier just to set it up for them to be able to have the conversations versus me asking, what's going on in your household, or trying to figure out what's going on with them. Let's do a group talk and I'll find out all that information. We can find out all that information. If we put them together in a circle, and that team don't feel alone, they don't feel like, you the only one judging them, what I mean? Like, and that it's only happened to them. We don't want them to feel like that. You know what I mean? So it's very critical to tread lightly with our young people, because they think they know everything and they think they done seen it all, and they think they got all the answers and all that. So we gotta let them feel like they got all that. We gonna let them feel like they have all that until somebody reach their hand in that bucket and pull out a topic. Then we gonna find out what they really know. You see what I mean? So that's the way, I would suggest being able to have that conversation and sort of kind of, making sure we doing our parts as advocates and mental health professionals, social workers and things, just setting them up in a space where they can actually have the conversation.
I love that. And more so, I love how you are able to connect with both adults and teens, because you said it open and honest. Our teens think they know everything.
Yes,
they don't think they're ever wrong, and
No.
they live by a standard today that respect is earned, not given. We came up in the era where respect was given and not earned.
Right.
So you have to be able to, before you even think about even establishing some type of relationship with our younger kids today, you have to understand them honestly, and you have to understand kind of like how to crack the code, because they're not ones to just like be open and just think that you're gonna get what you want from them. So trust me, you all, you better listen to Queen right now to what she's saying to you, because she just has such a dynamic way of just getting them to open up, by earning, their trust. So how does social media play a role in keeping the teen dating violence going? And how can it help to provide education? Because, our kids, they love social media, TikTok, IG, not Facebook, because they say Facebook is for the older crowd, but
it plays a horrible role, a horrible role in, and especially if we will say underneath the umbrella of domestic violence and mental health and mental illnesses and stuff, because our teens see our parents using social media, using these platforms and things to vent, to what they call venting.
You are watching Shift with Lisa Council. Remember, self-healing ignites flourishing transformation. Now, back to the show.
Social media is not your therapist. Once you put it out there, social media can't give you no tips on how you can better yourself and better your behavior and better your situation. What people are going to do is most times attack your situation. You see me? And that's going to make you feel more horrible about yourself and what you to put out there. And then there's some of them who looking for a fight. And so that's the only way they feel like they can get a fight is through social media. Right? And so our teens pick that up and they learn, they feel like, okay, well, they do what I'm gonna do. Oh, this how we communicate. This how we supposed to resolve conflict. So we go back and forth on text messages. We go back and forth on Facebook. We go back and forth on Twitter. We go back and forth on TikTok. This is what they're learning to do. They wasn't born into the world this way. None of us were. And quite frankly, when internet came out, there was no etiquette classes for us to learn how to manage ourselves on the internet. Everybody was just thrown into the internet. Thank God for my mother and father, because we had the encyclopedia. So we knew a lot what was on the internet. So it wasn't no big deal for us over here. But it ain't working like that today. Our parents are doing this mess in front of their children and teaching their children that this is how you resolve conflict. So it is horrible. This is how you fall in love with strangers, people that you don't know, stranger danger. And then you bring them into the house only 1 month, and the children be like, how long you been talking to her? How long you been talking to her? Oh, about 3 weeks to a month. We you know, our relationship moving kind of fast, but you know, he or she is ready to take steps forward. On what grounds? Excuse me, on what grounds are they ready to take things forward? And you met this person on some dating app. And the issue with that is that if you're going to do that, at least teach our children safety measures of being on the internet and the proper etiquette of being on the internet, and that you do not ever air out none of your personal businesses that you know everybody watching you, and you know they gonna say something about it, and you know a conflict gonna get started. You're trying to start a fight. You're trying to start a fight over the internet, and it's happening from our teens all the way up. Let me say something to you. It's happening from late age 8, 9, all the way up to the parents at this point. This is how they're resolving their conflict. This is how
they're resolving their conflict. Wow. How they're resolving their conflict and airing out their dirty laundry.
And this is how they're meeting and dating predators. This is how people are falling in love under false pretenses. Both of those are false pretenses. You can't resolve no conflict over the internet using social media. You cannot fall in love like that over no internet. You have to be able to see a person, talk to a person, and communicate what the conflict is or what that love is going to look like.
Wow. So what we're hearing today, again, everyone, and I hope you're paying attention, because this is an educational moment for us all. Social media is a blessing and a curse, is what I'm hearing. And also, the behavior is learned within the 4 walls of our household, is what I'm learning as well, which a lot of people don't understand. And that's something that I've learned. I'm gonna raise my hand from being in the classroom. Is that is a learned behavior. So that's why I kind of wanted to tap into next. If you have a parent, again, it's going back to the parents, the grandparents, whoever the adults are that, play a role in our young children's and in our teens' lives.
Yeah.
How do they decipher if something is wrong with the child or the teen when they're going through it themselves. Like, what should they be looking for? Because if Lisa's in it, how would I even know what to look for when it comes to my child if I'm going through it myself?
Because you in it. When it. What would it look for? You know what it look like and you know what it feel like. But can you process what your child going through because you going through it? Can you process that right now? Can you actually help your child because you need some help? You can't even help yourself. So can you actually help your child understand what they're going to? And then the children is like, you know, basically it's the pot calling the kettle black. You telling me that I can't do it, but I see you sitting here doing it. So you basically saying, you know, you basically contradicting what's really going on here. We both are in it. How can we, you know what I'm saying? How can a mom or a grandmother or somebody discern, you know what I mean, that my child need my help and that I need to put my stuff to the side and like really focus on my child need my help? Is that mother? Is that grandma? Is that father? Is that uncle? Whoever ready to put their stuff to the side and really zoom into what that child is going through because you know that you done went down that same lane at that same age group. You know these things have happened to you. You know our elder people who know that sexual abuse, for an example, be going on, and they be knowing who all the predators are in the fan. Are they going to stop and let the younger generation know at the table? Look, so and so and so and so. You know, I don't want y'all around him. No unsupervised visits with her, because no, she be touching the boys. She be touching the girl. Are we going to put our stuff to the side and really chime into what our young people are going through? Absolutely not. Because you in denial. You in denial about what you're going through. We got to wait till you come out of denial to find out that the baby is going through the same thing that you're going through, and that you should have been put your stuff to the side and put that baby first.
Yes.
Absolutely not. We got to wait till they come out denial. Denial can take how long to come out, Lisa?
Oh, well, it took me about 30-something plus years. So.
All right, then. Okay. And it's unfortunate. You out here having a conversation. I'm out here having a conversation. Countless people are out here having this conversation at this point, and people are still in denial. Yes, and I mean, you sit there and talk to. I sit there and talk to their brains and their hearts, and they still in denial. I'm thinking I didn't crack the rock. I didn't did something. I didn't open up a door, you know, but they still leave in denial.
Yes, absolutely. You know, that was the only thing, as you know, that really helped me was, you know, the therapy. And along with the therapy, the classroom, because we have to have like an understanding of really what's going on. I mean, yeah, therapy is good and it's great, but I'm telling you, you have to have. That's why I was so intrigued whenever I was in the classroom because I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like this connects here, that connects over there, and X, Y, and Z, and we just really honestly have no understanding of why do I keep going through this, and okay, why is my child going through that? And you know, during the times when I would go over to the high schools with you, and you know, the one thing that you know I was always intrigued by with the kids, where they would be like, "Oh, I learned that from my mother," especially talking to the girls when it came to them being, having male victims. Like, oh, I learned that from my mother. That's how my mother treats her boyfriend. And these are teens saying this, to us adults and us, us advocates. So man, oh man, oh man, we have a long way to go. And again, that's exactly why I wanted to have this discussion, not in February, but during the month of March, because I honestly think this is a discussion that needs to be ongoing, just like domestic violence, education needs to be ongoing. I'm always one to say, okay, why are we only talking about domestic violence awareness during the month of October when it's 24/7? And so what can we teach, if anything, on the flags to look for when it comes to teen, dating violence? What are some of the flags that we can educate our domestic violence, whereas many tags family and now Shift family today?
You know that the number one warning sign is going to be verbal abuse.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be verbal abuse. How are we communicating in just on a daily with, let's say, family or friendship, or maybe a relationship? How do we communicate? Is it verbal abuse? Is it done in access? We need to pay attention to that, because that solidifies, what we think, our behavior, and everything moving forward in terms of relationships, friendships, parentships. So we got to be cognizant of how we are talking to one another. And Lisa, I walk around with 100 words on me. I got 100 words on me to match feelings that these people don't know.
Yes.
And when I put the words on the table, they don't want to acknowledge the words.
Yes.
Okay, first and foremost, we're going to have to acknowledge these words, because this is where the platform starts for knowing that, okay, well, you made me feel like I was disappointing you. I don't want to disappoint you. You made me feel like, what I said to you was unsafe. I never want you to feel unsafe when you are around me. So we have to acknowledge that communication. Is it verbal abuse? Is it somebody belittling you, discarding you, outright just calling you out your name? Like, you don't halfway know your name. That's another reason why the children don't be knowing their name. Because they're being called B word, N word, and cuss words. Time and time again. So yes, we have to start with the verbal. That's going to be the number one way that you can start to discern that, maybe this ain't right. This is just not right, by what somebody say to you.
Right.
If that makes sense. So that's going to be number one. Number two is going to be, of course, blaming and shifting the problem. Our teens have gotten into a place where they don't take accountability for their behavior. They want to blame it and shift the problem on somebody else. That's still going to fall under, when somebody constantly telling you that you're not good enough, it's your fault. That's why victims are always like, I thought it was my fault. They literally be thinking it's their fault because you have the abuser or that a person who is blaming everything on you.
Yes.
And never taking accountability for the relationship. That's parents too. They blame their children for everything, but never take accountability for the relationship, so that our young people can learn that, it's okay for me to admit I did this wrong, or I said something wrong.
Yes.
And not feel like, not feel judgment or feel bad about myself. They should actually feel more proud of themselves for saying that. That was my problem, my bad. I apologize.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And then you have quick involvement, where our young people are getting involved too quick with people that they don't know. That's a warning sign of an abusive personality all day long. That's going to be a red flag all day long. When you have our young people texting and receiving 60 text messages in 30 seconds, what is really going on here? What's really going on here? Are we checking our young people devices? And prime example, I talked to my brother yesterday. My niece is in college, and he said she done met somebody and she cooking food for the guy and everything. And he feel like the guy mooching. He is mooching off of her. He is. But guess what? She got to understand that, oh, hold on. I deserve better.
Yes.
No, I'm not going to be sitting here being with somebody who is doing this to me. But you know what? She got involved too quick. She don't know who the person is. So I told my brother, say, do you know his name? You got some information on him? Because you can do a background check on him. We got to do the background checks, and we need to do the background check. Mothers and fathers, y'all need to do the background check. You can go to truth.com and get your background check done on whoever this person is that is dating your son or your daughter. Because we need to identify who these people are. because it's a lot of things in behavior, but it's also a lot of things that run in that DNA. It's
Oh,
also a lot
yes.
of mental illnesses that are predisposition that we don't know about. And it might happen to come out on our child. That stuff can show up on our child, right? And kill our child. Okay. So we
Absolutely.
got to make sure that our young people are taking their time getting to know somebody. You don't just jump in a relationship, and Lord have mercy, if the person can coerce you to have sex on, let's say, less than 30 days, less than 14 days, I mean, this could be a whole disaster, sis. And I don't care if you a young person or older person, this can be a whole disaster for somebody when we think that a one night stand is a whole relationship. You are
Yes.
sick in your mind, and you get ready to get into something that you might not be able to get out of. So quick involvement is very serious. We got to let our teens know that they can remain virgins. Our young men and our young women, they can remain virgins. Okay. You don't have
Absolutely.
to lay down with nobody. You don't have to jump quickly and spend your money, cash out. Financial abuse. Financial abuse is serious amongst our teen and young adult community. They are buying love right and left and don't realize it. Don't realize it. But quick involvement will have you doing it, especially if premature sex is involved.
Absolutely. You all heard it. You all have been educated on today. You have been educated. And guess what? We're even going to come back with a follow-up really soon with
Amen.
our teacher,
Amen.
educator,
Amen.
to get into that DNA piece.
Yes.
So that she can break down the understanding of that DNA piece, because a lot of the DNA plays a part into this.
Yes,
And
it does.
I've never understood it, and it blows my mind completely.
Yeah.
So Queen, I just want to ask you what you've already done for me, as you always do. If you could inspire just one person on today, what would you say to them?
I would say, look, under a topic like domestic violence, mental health, you're not alone. You're not alone, because most of us feel like we are alone. And most of us feel like we gotta carry this burden by ourselves because it's family tradition, that we hold things in, and we don't really address our conflict. We don't talk about the things that hurt our feelings, right? You not by yourself in that. And there is avenues that you can take to be able to, get your confidence at a level that you want to get it at, or get your words to feelings, to be able to match them words to your feelings at a level that you want to get it out. Like I tell people all the time, you can do this in secret. You can do this in secret. Nobody has to know that you said, I want better for myself, that I want more. You see me? That I don't understand. Like I told him yesterday, why I was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I had to get in there and do the work to find out why I was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And then I started to realize I'm not the only one cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And if you can identify with cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, then you're not the only one if you feel like that. And that's a real thing. That's a real feeling for our young people, as well as our parents and our elders. We got so many elders who commit suicide because they don't want to be a burden. They don't want to, put their feelings in their discontentment on other people. So they kill themselves.
Yes.
No, we don't want you to feel like that. We want you to feel love. We want you to feel encouraged. We want you to know that you can reach out and get that help in secret. You can reach out and talk to somebody right where you at. You don't have to go nowhere these days. You can do a remote right where you are.
Yes.
I would just encourage also that you find the time to start addressing them three fingers that point back at you. You got your finger pointing. Everybody point the finger at somebody else. Everybody do it. We all do it. But we got to address them three fingers that are pointing back at our hearts. That's the
Yes.
main thing that we got to do. And I'm saying to everybody out there, for our shift students and for our domestic violence wears many tag students and for the world, you can do this thing. You can do it. It's going to just take you saying, I need that help. I heard this on Shift. I heard Queen Afi on there, and I want to reach out. It's simple. You can change your life. Nobody else don't have to do that. You have got to do that for yourself. Thank you for letting me share.
I'm a witness, you all, to every single thing that our sister just shared with us on today. And I just want everyone to, take it very seriously when it comes to teen dating violence.
Yeah.
It leads to so many things. It leads to depression, anxiety, PTSD, learning disabilities, isolation, and in some cases, sadly, it leads to death by way of suicide or murder. I'm a witness. There is help out there. Never feel like you're alone, because that's just exactly how I felt. I felt like I was alone. And yep, as funny as it may sound, and you might get a little giggle out of it, but I definitely felt like I was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. You know why? Because someone told me that. And someone made me feel that way. And then I believe that. I believe wholeheartedly that I was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. But when I got into the classroom and I received that education and I received that therapy by way of working with a therapist such as Queen, who specializes in domestic violence, then I had a better understanding of domestic violence, of teen dating violence, and quite frankly, more importantly, of myself, of myself. And I'm telling you, your life can be changed and your life can be transformed. And then, hey, you can go back and you can start educating your elders, your mom, your dad, your grandparents. Sadly, sometimes when we go into like the safe houses and we go into like the shelters, you will see generations. You'll see a grandmother with a daughter, then with a granddaughter, and then their children, all together, linked together in this cycle. They're all living separately, but in a safe house, or in a shelter. Mother, daughter, granddaughter, great great granddaughter. You know what I mean? And so we have got to break the cycle. And the only people that can break the cycle is us. We're the only ones who can do it. And that's going to only come by way of truth and transparency. We have to accept our truths. We have to really accept them. So, Queen, why don't you share with us how we can get in touch with you and anything that domestic violence wears many tags going on? I mean, there's so many things that you have, I know, but tell our listeners how they can get in touch with you so that they too can meet us in the classroom and get on their yellow brick road to
Road to
healing,
healing.
y'all.
Right, y'all. Get on your yellow brick road to healing, because you're not by yourself. Look, I tell you all the time, that road is long. It's a long
Yes.
road, boy. But it's worth it. It's worth it because you got sisterhood, you got brotherhood, you got people that's on that road with you that know what you're going through. And once you have that support, man, you unstoppable. You can manage your trauma. You can manage your anxiety. And in short, I work with a young girl right now. She was shot in the face by her father. And so she actually, people can look at her and see her marks of domestic violence. Um, and like I told her, I said, let me say something to you, baby girl. We on the yellow brick road to healing. And one day you gonna look in that mirror and you ain't gonna see that mark. You ain't gonna see that mark. And
Amen.
the anxiety that they told you have, that's just fear. Fear of people looking at the mark, and fear people talking about the mark and whispering about the mark.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me, baby girl. As you on your yellow brick road to healing, trust. You gonna tell people, oh, you looking at my scar? Let me share what happened. Let me share with you what happened to me. That's what it's gonna turn into. So whether your scars are internal or external, that's what it's gonna turn into. Your fear is going to turn into faith, destiny. And you're going to realize, I got a purpose. I'm supposed to be saying something about this conversation. So when you can get on that yellow brick road to healing and get folk around you to rally around you like that, woo wee. You are on your way. You are on your way. Trust me, you are on your way. Because domestic violence is meant for us to feel like it's all our fault. We alone and don't nobody care, and it's embarrassing and it's shameful. And those are real feelings. But that yellow brick road to healing is real too. And you can turn that thing around. All right.
Amen.
If
Amen.
you want to get in the classroom now, you can definitely reach out to your sister. 202-821-8933 if you want to get in the classroom, if you just want to ask some questions. You're not sure, you're not clear. You want to say, Queen, look, can I ask you a question? You are more than welcome to do that. If you want to go to your Google search browser and type in DVWMT, everything about domestic violence and what we do, including our website, will show up for you, and you can investigate. I always say, do your research on me first, don't I, Lisa? Lisa, did you let them know where I rode? Did you let them know how your sister go? Because I ain't, look, I ain't get right sugarcoat the situation there.
I love it.
The thing, we got to be, like you said, truth and transparency with, our people that are going through this issue of domestic violence anywhere as many times. It's not just a black thing. Domestic violence don't care about your race. It don't care about your weight. It don't care about your shoe size. It don't care about if you got long hair or short hair. It will rip you to shreds. It will rip you to shreds. I'm telling you. And it definitely don't care. Anytime it can affect our infant babies in the womb, anytime domestic violence is affecting babies in the womb, it don't care about us. It don't care about us. So thank you for letting me share, sis.
Amen. Thank you so much, sis.
You're welcome.
Of course, you already know that words can express how much I love you.
I love you more.
This is, like I said, truly a blessing to me because March is my birth month. And if I can be very open and honest and transparent right now with our domestic violence Where's Many Tags family who know me and I love them dearly, who have become my family. Not my second family, my family.
Amen.
There was a time when I didn't want to live because I was so depressed and I just wanted to give it all up and I just wanted to honestly throw in the towel. But I'm still celebrating my 10-year journey.
That's right.
To healing.
Bless the
I'm
Lord.
still celebrating. So this is a part of still my 10-year celebration. Amen. I will be 57 this month, the month of March. And I have never wanted to live more than I do right now. Because there was a time, y'all, when I did not want to be here. The pain was just that bad.
That's all right.
Begin to put words to feelings. There were no words to describe how I felt. Unbeknownst to me until Queen came in with her cards. But seriously, this is just a birthday blessing to me.
Yes, happy birthday.
Because domestic violence started off for me at a very young age. So I know how some of the children feel. I know how some of the teens feel. And I was on that road to destruction when it came to me, honestly, as a parent, because I didn't know any other way. The pain that I had endured, I wasn't taking it out on my child, but I didn't know how to let her live her life freely and fully because of all of the trauma that I had experienced from my childhood into adulthood. So I called myself wanting to be this overprotective parent. Until one day I had to realize through my daughter being a part of domestic violence, wears many tags, and having those open and transparent discussions with Queen is that, Mom, your trauma isn't my trauma. And finally, for me, a red light bulb went off in my head and said, well, I be daggone, it's not. Like, seriously, y'all, it's not, because I knew no other way to parent her. I was trying to make her live her life in fear. I didn't want her to go certain places or do certain things or be around certain people because of my own anxiety and my own PTSD until she received a better understanding of domestic violence just through my behavior.
Yeah.
And then her speaking with someone who's a specialist and a therapist and an educator in this, until she can help me to see that this is your traumatic experiences you live, not mine. And when I tell you that the little chick is unstoppable, she's unstoppable. She has a mind of her own. But guess what? God knew that that's exactly what I needed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if I'm telling you this, I'm saying that the same thing can happen for you, even in your teen years. You can be set free. You are not in this alone. I thought I was in it alone. I didn't think I could talk to anybody. I didn't think anybody would understand. But then I got into that classroom and I started pouring out. And man, I have sisters and brothers right now who we may not talk every day, but we have an understanding of one another. I can reach out to all of my domestic violence wears many tags family right now, and they're there. Because sometimes when you're talking about all of this stuff to people that you know and love, they don't know what to do. They don't know what to say to you. They don't know how to comprehend any daggone thing you saying.
They don't.
They really don't. Even if they love you, they can't tell you how to get on your yellow brick road to healing. All they can do is tell you, oh, get over it. Oh, things happen for a reason. Oh, you still there? Or you still thinking about that?
Yeah.
Oh, you just move on. That's not how this thing works. So I'm telling you right now, don't feel like you're alone. I hope that you all have taken in everything that's been shared with you on today. I hope you jotted down that number. If you didn't, reach out to me at S.H.I.F.T. I'll pass the number on to you, only though with one thing in mind. If you're not ready and if you're not serious, don't ask me for that number because I'm not sharing it. You have to be serious because you're not going to get that sugar-coated caramel cream, vanilla ice cream milkshake that you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming to you real. It's coming to you transparently. It's coming to you raw, and so that you can get that healing that you need. This is not a journey that takes you to these Prince Charming and Cinderella steps. This is about your well-being and your healing. I'm telling you right now, it's life-changing. So Queen, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I just want to say to our listeners, if any of you or anyone that you know is experiencing domestic violence of any kind, you can find help and resources by contacting the domestic violence hotline at 1-800-799-7233. I love you with my heart. Thank you for continuing to be a part of the S.H.I.F.T. family. Thank you for being a part of our domestic violence wears many tags family. See, because domestic violence where many tags is my first family, if y'all didn't know, and then S.H.I.F.T is my second family. In that order, and I mean that in that order.
Amen. Praise the Lord.
In that order. It's strategically meant to be in that order. So it comes for me: domestic violence wears many tags, and then S.H.I.F.T, y'all, because I can't do this if I am not adhering to my yellow brick road to hearing with my domestic violence wears many tags.
Absolutely.
You cannot pour from an empty cup. So y'all, peace and blessings, and thank you for continuing to celebrate 10 years, y'all, with me.
Girl,
thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you.
What are you doing to heal? Remember, your healing is imperative. Healing renews, soothes, and makes you whole. S.H.I.F.T. See you right here next time.